ahead and get started. Again, my name's Dennis Smeltzer, president of TSANet. I'm going to turn this over to Paul. Really just to kind of set this up, I think everybody sort of gets this already, but Case Exchange has been something that we undertook as an organization as a result of our members wanting us to do this, and it's been something that's been on the back burner for a long time, and we've really now have got something out there where you guys can utilize this. And I don't want to steal any of Paul's thunder as he goes into this, but I will tell you that it's something that the members we'd like to see adopt and get moving on it, because it's a really good, cool thing that everybody's wanted to have for a while. So let me go ahead and turn it over to Paul. Take it away, Paul.
Thanks a lot, Dennis. So today I'm going to cover a few things on Case Exchange. First, I'll give you a brief overview as well as current state of Case Exchange. Share a little bit about member deployment options, so give you some sense of things that you could do as far as actually taking this into use. I'll show you how it works. We'll do a quick demo as well, and then we should have some time for Q&A at the end as well. So first of all, on Case Exchange, it is a member benefit. This is something that is included in your membership. Picture's 1,000 words here. It shows what it is. Basically, it's a piece of technology that plugs into your system and then allows you to collaborate with all the other members. So it's a connect once, collaborate with as many members as you want. It's not defined on a particular membership level, so it also works within your custom groups to limited members as well. It is a quick implementation. So we have CRM connectors, and I'll show you an example, Salesforce, which is one that a few members already have in use. In addition, you can also use it from the member web, and I'll show that as well. It is lightweight and flexible. I think you'll get a good sense of that when you see the demo. It's essentially, I compare it to integrating a defect tracking in your CRM system. It basically installs a new object and links it to your case. So we're not talking deep integration and customization. This is something where you're able to get up and going in a matter of hours here. And then the last piece is defining the data that you exchange. So again, you are not required to synchronize all the fields in your case record. It essentially is a new record. You can choose which fields you would like to exchange to the other end. You can also define what data you need to receive when you get an inbound escalation, and you'll see that when I provide the demo as well. So then, as far as the current state, taking a look a little bit at roadmap here, we did deploy this first last part of 2014. It first came to the membership with 3 CRM connectors. We piloted this good part of 2014. There was 3 members that were involved in that. Several changes to those systems and connectors, but they were released at the end of 2014. In 2015, in the summer, we developed and released a web interface, and that brought a few more members onto the system as well. And here in the fall of 2015, we had a release that made some improvements to the web interface, specifically some things as far as usability of the web interface, and then some improvements as far as the email notification that you receive when you have a new inbound escalation or an update. And I'll explain that a little bit when we go into the web interface. As far as the deployment options, we have really 2 different options for members. The first is a CRM connector, and currently we support 3 connectors today: Salesforce, NetSuite, and Microsoft Dynamics. So we have connectors for each of those. And then in addition, we have a web interface. So if you do not have one of those systems, or maybe you're in the middle of implementation, you do not want to deploy it on your CRM system immediately, you can start with the web interface and then migrate later. So they're essentially the same. You'll see when we do the demo, it wouldn't be a large learning curve for your staff if you were to start with the web interface and later migrate to the CRM connector. Then as far as deployment strategies, you have two of these as well. The first is a single activation, and this is where you basically come to us and say, I want to use Case Exchange, and we activate you in the system, and anytime a new company joins Case Exchange, they're automatically added into your system. So there's really nothing else that you have to do. Just turn it on once, and it'll continue to grow as more members get added. The second is a phased approach, and this might be a good strategy for larger companies or maybe a company that's in the middle of a CRM transition and you just want to kind of test it with a group of individuals. And this works both with the web or CRM system. So for example, if you had a small group in your Salesforce system that you wanted to provide access to this, you could create a group there, assign them a specific case object that has this escalation feature on it, so you're able to do that within your CRM system as well. And then naturally on the member web, if you wanted to, you could have this be a part of just a specific custom group or a part of any type of escalation into your system. So again, you've got some ability here to define how you want to get started and then deploy it in a larger scale as you get more confidence. And indicated here as well that one other option, if you are on a CRM system, you would like to implement that, but maybe you don't have the ability to get that into your CRM roadmap, or you're in the middle of a transition, you can always start with the web and move to CRM later. And I'll show you when we do the demo basically how that looks on each side. I think you'll get a sense that it wouldn't be a large transition to go from the web to CRM. So just taking a quick view here on how this works. So essentially you have an initiator and a destination. So the initiator is going to open up a case with another member. And what happens then is the cases are linked, and any activity that you are updating in the B2B escalation section is synchronized then between those two systems. And again, when I do the demo, you'll get a sense of this, but basically you can see these sections that are added to each of the case records. This is a Salesforce and NetSuite example, but it's a similar thing also with the web interface or Microsoft Dynamics or Salesforce to Salesforce. It works essentially the same way. You have a initiator and destination case. They're linked together through what's called a global ID, and then all of the B2B messages are tracked and associated underneath the case on each end. And just taking a look at how this looks in Salesforce, and again, you'll see this in the demo. You see this B2B section that's added to the case record, and then you see a B2B escalation button. Both of these things are customizable, so if you wanted to change that to TSANet escalation, you can do that as well. And then the B2B form, you can see here it has basically several fields that you can dynamically set from your master case, but then some information that you are defining that's specific to the escalation. So the description and comment, you can add files here for passing information back and forth as well. So then moving on to the member web. So on the member web, we've got a couple different integration points. The first is the actual Case Exchange interface, which is available under the Cases tab. So you'll see that when you log into the member web. If it's activated, once you select it, you'll see this list of active escalations, and then of course you've got a section to look at your closed escalations and also create new escalations. So that's kind of the main integration. But then secondarily, in your contact document, you have the ability to add a contact method called log a case with Case Exchange. And when we configure you in the system, we help set all this up. So that's something that then becomes a contact method for other members when they're escalating to you. And then as far as the web functionality, again, when I do the demo, you'll see this exactly the same functionality as CRM, with the exception of obviously it's not sitting in your CRM system. So you can see that this form looks exactly like the form I just showed you in Salesforce. Really the key difference here is you're going to see a field for the internal case number, and you'll see that that's really the way that that's presented also in the list view. So since this is from the website, it's a system or a list that's outside of your CRM system, the main key that we're recording there that allows your engineers to quickly go here and find the case and not have to track multiple case numbers is that's really the primary field then in the web is the internal case number. And then the secondary functionality for the member web is the email notification, and you are notified whenever a new or updated escalation occurs. So it obviously doesn't require your engineers to be monitoring this other system. You'll get notified when action needs to take place. And within that email, there'll be a link that takes the engineers directly back to this form to respond. And also in the email, it does include all the information that comes from the web form. So if you do have some type of an email to case or some type of interface on that side for your CRM, that is a potential integration option as well. And if that's of interest, we can have a further discussion on that. So taking a look at what's needed to go live, this gives you just a sense of what you would need as a member in order to go live with this solution. For the CRM connectors, we would need to have a conversation with your system admin. And again, this isn't necessary to have a developer. This is something that is basically installed out of the Salesforce App Exchange, for example, and then there's some configuration when you're installing it. So this isn't development, this is basically install and configuration, and something that does not take very long. Communicating the deployment strategy, and again, this is do you want to turn it on as a single activation, or do you want to start with a pilot? That's something you would work with us on, and then modifying the contact document, and again, that's something that we help with as well. So not a huge effort on the CRM connector side. Obviously, the thing we don't define here, and this is very unique to each user, is do you have any specific workflow in your CRM system that you would like to define then now that this is in there? And so for example, we do have some members that are on a new inbound escalation. Maybe it goes into a special queue, right? So all of those things are very easily configured in a CRM system, and again, these are things that we can help you with as well. For the web interface, very simple, giving us a email DL so that we can point the email notifications to, and then commuting the deployment strategy to us. So that's really all you need to do on the web interface side. We have a very short, I think it's a 3-page slide set that is used for training for the engineers, but again, you'll see in the demo here, very easy to use, doesn't require a whole lot of training and education to get your engineers to work this way. Okay, so with that, I'm going to step out of the demo and into the system here. Okay, and you're able to see that? Dennis, you're still able to see this?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to give you a quick demo. This is the Salesforce interface here, if you're not familiar with it. And then this side is the member web. And again, you can see here the cases tab is where the stuff is showing up. Okay, so I'm going to do an example here. And you can see here we've got an existing case in my system. I am configured, just so you kind of know the players here. In the Salesforce system, I am configured as Apple. And then in the member web, I'm configured as a fictitious company called Globex. So here, I'm an Apple engineer. I'm working an issue. I feel that I need to collaborate with Globex and get them involved in this. I go to the B2B escalation, I select Globex, and again, I fill out all the information that I have. You can see here, not a lot of required fields, so we try to keep this pretty pretty simple, but it allows you to supply whatever customer information you want to have. And then it does automatically copy the summary and description from your master case it's associated with, but you could easily change this as well. So if this, for example, has some, specific customer details in there that you don't want to share, you can remove that, or you could add to this as well. And then you can add a comment. Okay, and then you'll see when that's saved, I've got a line item here in the system. Okay, and then on the member website, you can see here that I've just triggered a new inbound case. So I can go to this, and again, this would be if you're Globex in this case and you've configured to use the member web, you would have received an email, and there would have been a link there that would have taken you directly to this form. I would go in and fill out my information here, going ahead and replying to Apple. Again, you can see here now I can define my my case number, and I can fill out other information if I have it, and fill out my comment, attach a file if I want to as well. And now you'll see I've got this additional line item here, and over on the Salesforce side, I've got that here as well. So again, it's going to synchronize all the information back and forth as far as comments on each of the systems. So that's kind of a fairly high-level view of that. If I go, let me show you another example here. So you can see here a few other ones where I've got probably several more comments. You can see here, this one with a few different things going on here, showing the different status changes along the way, the different comments, who's messaging to who. So basically, all of the threads are contained underneath that. The other item that's of interest is, and we get this question a lot, escalating to multiple members, right? So this would be the scenario where Apple is working on an issue. They need to collaborate with Globex. During the course of that collaboration, they find that they need to collaborate with yet another member, and you can do that on the same case. So you can see what happens here then is it tracks the threads with the two different members on here as well. And again, it's not duplicating those, so you can have unique messages sent. In this example, I've got some conversations happening with Globex, and then some more conversations happening with another member. So this allows you to have very specific conversations and collaborations with members. And of course, if you want to share the same information, you can do that as well. Okay. So that's it for the demo. Let me just kind of come back here and give you a little bit of information on next steps, and then I think we'll open it up for some questions. Few different places that you can go to find some more information. Obviously, the first one, and appreciate your time to come to this webinar, but a few other sources of information here. If you go to on the member web, you'll see a link for member help, and underneath that you will see an icon for Case Exchange. This is the direct URL to it, but basically if you go there, you will find a lot of information, some presentations, links to recorded webinars, including this one we'll be putting on there as well. But really where I tell people to start, if you are in the process of sharing this internally to get buy-in, we have a brochure that really kind of explains what it is and how it works. And it's a single page, double-sided, so it's something that's very easy to kind of sit down with your executive team or your Salesforce team or who's ever part of the decision-making process and explain what this is. Then kind of the next level you would find, and I think some of this depends on who your target is, but we even have the deployment guides, so the specific details on here's exactly how you download and install it on Salesforce, for example. So that'd be something if your Salesforce sysadmin has some more detailed questions, they certainly would find that there. You'll find some other FAQs and things as well, including some presentations there. So quite a bit of information that helps you, kind of try to understand what this is. And what I try to kind of share with people is it is something that is fairly quick and painless to get up and going. So I know a lot of times when you hear a tool or technology that integrates to this and integrates to that, immediately it sends chills up people's spines, maybe from past experience on those types of things. But this really is, it's an app you download, you configure. It is not development activity within your system. And as you saw here from the demo, fairly lightweight, not heavy as far as teaching your engineers how to use something like this. And last but not least, obviously you can contact myself or Dennis if you have any types of questions, and also to start the activation process. And like I said, just to give you some benchmarks here, I would say normally for the Salesforce side, we've seen that happen in a couple weeks, and obviously that takes a bit more communication, etc. The actual effort certainly less, but that's kind of the time frame. The website is something we can get up in a couple of days. So literally about an hour's worth of work on our side. We tend to, again, try to share some training material, but that's a very quick thing to get up and going. And I would say if you are supporting email as a escalation method today, there's really no reason that you wouldn't turn on Case Exchange, because from your standpoint, it's really the same thing. You're receiving an email, in this case, a much more crisply defined email based on structured fields that the member company is sending towards you. So if you're supporting email today, highly encourage you to reach out to us. And with that, I'll pause and see if we have any questions.
And we actually already do. Good to see you on the webinar, Ed. So let me go ahead. I'll just, Paul, you won't need to look them up. I'll just go ahead. But if anybody wants to ask a question, you should be able to do that on your control panel over there. And Ed wants to know how do members integrate this to their in-house CRM tools?
Yeah, so for your in-house CRM tools, if you have a supported CRM tool, right? So Salesforce, NetSuite, or Microsoft Dynamics, it is something. So for example, Salesforce, you go to the Salesforce Marketplace, download the connector, install it on your system. So there is an install guide that tells you exactly how to do that, and you'll find that underneath this this member help under Case Exchange. If you do not have a supported system, really your best option then is the member web. And as far as integration then from that into your CRM system, again, probably the key there, if you're looking for integration, is to explore integrating the email notifications that are being triggered. And again, we're perfectly happy to have some conversations there if you want to use the member web, but you also want some level of integration.
Okay. And there was one other point that I want to go ahead and emphasize as well. and that is, and Paul covered this in the deployment strategies area, but one of the things that we're seeing, especially in some of the larger companies, and although it doesn't necessarily have to be a larger company like that, but if you elect to go ahead and say, well, I want to kind of test the water with this without jumping into the ocean, what I could do is you could take a relationship, or you could take a community and just implement case exchange within that community. So that's also one of the strategies that Paul talked about. We're seeing this happen a little bit more and more from some of the larger companies. Let's see. So we have another question, Paul. If I have a SEV1, how long does it take for the secondary company to collaborate, and who are the escalation managers to help with a fast resolution? I can answer that, but go ahead.
Okay, so I think the quick answer, and I'll let you expand on that, Dennis, is really the way to look at case exchange is it's a communications method, right? Just like picking up the phone or sending an email, right? Obviously, it brings it into your CRM system, but this does not change the SLAs that you've agreed to by joining a certain level of TSANet. So whatever kind of the existing level you've joined, whether it's basic or premium, there are defined SLAs based on severity that you must support, and this really just mirrors that. So look at this as a communication tool to help support the SLAs.
And what I would expand on that is that I think if you ran into an issue, as everybody's familiar with this contact document, right? You go to a contact document, that's still going to be there, and you're still going to have a escalation point within that contact document. So that doesn't go away, but as Paul said, this is a tool that's kind of put on top of that. If you see the contact document, it says case exchange, it'll still have escalation information down there if you needed it. But as Paul was saying, right, this is just another communication tool, and they should have workflow things on their end that if it's a SEV1, then you're going to be responded back to, et cetera, that kind of thing. Got another question here. Can you use both case exchange and web exchange? For example, can managers use a web exchange and engineers use Salesforce?
Okay, good question. Unfortunately, the answer is no. So the way to view these are the web is a connector just like Salesforce is, and the system is only going to point at one connector. So if there's a scenario though where, for example, managers do not have access to Salesforce or is looking for kind of more simplistic stuff, I think probably a good solution on that side would be to take a look at reporting capabilities, for example, in Salesforce. So you could arguably, and I think this is one of the benefits of using the connector, is that data is in Salesforce. So you can create dashboards, you can create reports, you can send those out to management teams. So you can arguably have a lot more crisp data with the Salesforce connector and summarize that how you would want for managers versus engineers.
Okay. And so far, no other questions. I think that's probably going to do it. I would also go back and emphasize, and what we typically have done is the next steps in this, which Paul covered in detail. But we got a beta site that we can go out. We can set this up for you so you can see exactly what it would look like, and we can turn it on or turn it off to whatever you would like to see. So that's kind of the next steps that we sort of take on it is let's understand what you want to do. Okay, well, if you wanted to use the member web portion of this, how would it work? And we can actually go directly into the beta site and set it up for your company, and as Paul is showing here now.
Yeah, and maybe one thing I should clarify as well is the member web is still very much active, right? So when I was talking about using the web versus using the Salesforce Case Exchange, I'm specifically talking about the Cases tab here that's showing the transactions, right? You still have full access to the member web here, and you can see here, for example, I'm looking at Apple's contact document, right, which they're using Salesforce, and you can see that I can still, I've got this option here to log a case with Case Exchange, but I still have the ability to show alternate contact methods, the escalation contacts, all of that. So this doesn't go away. This is basically a way to look at case exchange. It's a transactional system that kind of sits on top or inside of the member web.
Okay. Let's see. And can you escalate to more than one company at a time? That is one-to-many.
Yes, yeah, and that's basically what I was showing in this piece here. So here you can see Apple on the Salesforce side. I've escalated on the same exact case both to EMC and to Globex, and you can see here the threads are being managed in each of those.
Okay. What happens if one member has case exchange and the other company does not?
So the default, if you are collaborating with a member that does not have case exchange, is they would not have a logger case here. You would just use the contact document as normal, right? And basically how we've provided that in the Salesforce piece is you'll see if the member is not in the pull down. Let's see if I can get an example here. You see this link partner not listed. So if someone's not in this pull down, you click partner not listed. It single signs you into, but we basically use the group login ID to bring the user to the member web to then find the member's contact document. And then of course, if you're using the member web, you're going to see, some members are going to have logger case, some members may not. So this doesn't paint you in a corner, so to speak. It really kind of integrates with that, so it doesn't remove your ability to collaborate with members that are not using case exchange. What we tend to find when a member comes and says, I want to use case exchange, they normally come to us and say, and here's my top 2 or 3 companies I collaborate with, and I would like to get them on case exchange as well. And we're happy to assist with that, and that actually kind of helps us out as well. So, if you're interested and you're kind of, but I really, if I'm going to use it, I need to collaborate with these 2 or 3 companies are kind of a priority for me. Certainly share that with us when you reach out to.
And again, emphasis back on, hey, is that worth just even setting up a custom group if you wanted to do that? So you can have your own relationship with them however it is that you want to do that. So that's another possibility. I think you did it, Paul. I don't see any more questions.
Okay, great questions though. Appreciate it.
Very good stuff.
Okay, and then we will, like we said, we've got this recorded. We'll be sending this out to everyone, so if you want to share that with folks, and then, as I said, this will be in the member help section here. If you go here, you'll see case exchange, and lots of good information here. So here's a previous recording. You'll see a new updated recording for this session here, probably before the end of the day.
Okay, very good. Thanks, everybody. A good group of people that got on this webinar. We appreciate the interest in this, and we want you to take advantage of it as well. And as Paul said, this is a member benefit that we're providing as part of your membership. So just let us know if you want to take next steps, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Great. Thanks.